Cadizsh Norford, Mr. Hit the Kick Sweat, aka Kick to the Sweater, bringing the neighborhood kicking. We are here to bring some flexibility training to help you avoid further movement compensation, relieving the body after you get done getting after it with your resistance training or whatever that might be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my beautiful warriors, we're gonna start with relieving the hip flexors. Absolutely, that tensor fascia lata muscle, upper hip muscle, as well as the iliotibial band, that puppy that connects to the bottom of that TFL, runs all the way down to the knee, that lateral stabilizer. We're gonna help relieve them, as well as the medial thigh. We're going after the adductors, the psoas, a little bit of that VMO. So this first dynamic movement we can start with a half skip in between or a step in between. The most important thing, let's start small. Let's crawl before we walk. We're gonna go for that lateral step. We're gonna swing them into the medial, back to the outside. And I'm going for that little half step just to open up the hip flexor. That way I get a little bit more fluidity, a little bit more motion going in there. Engage the core when you bring that knee waist height. You want to get a deep roll, nice deep roll. Lock that knee 90 degrees, deep roll all the way through. Booyah. Nice deep inhale, nice deep exhale. What we're doing is we're going after the adduction, then we're going in abduction. So we're going after the medial line to the chest, then we're gonna go outside the shoulder, getting that psoas deep in the groin, getting the TFL upper hip muscle. All right, my team, Cadizsh Norford reporting back at you. So this time we're gonna challenge your neuromuscular efficiency. Remember, your neuromuscular efficiency is your balance and your coordination, what is directly associated with your ability to generate power. Absolutely, you never wanna neglect those balanced and coordinated exercises. Now, what we're gonna do when you balance a single leg. Most important thing when you're balancing a single leg, you wanna find that big toe, claw all five, but the big toe majorly, as well as the ball of the foot. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna keep the knee waist height. We're gonna bring that knee still in that 90 degrees. In abduction, we're gonna hold them for 3 Mississippis, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3. We're releasing, bringing them back to the medial. You can alternate. I like to focus on that leg just so that we can keep working that adduction and abduction. Inhale, nice deep exhale for 3 Mississippis. Release back to the medial, dropping them back down. You absolutely have to engage the core. This one's not a race. It's all about engaging that connective tissue. Ooh, he's trying to get away from me. Uh-oh, that'll happen. Ooh, find my big toe, find my big toe. There we go, find that big toe. Gotta find that big toe. It's all right. It's all right. You gotta fail first before you succeed, man. You gotta fail first before you succeed. Now, what I like to do is I like to have loose ankle shoes to force that connective tissue to work. The tibialis, the fibula, really working that gastroc. Inhale, nice deep exhale. We're gonna go for the kneeling hip flexor stretch. So what we just worked was the adduction roll with a little bit of dynamic movement in it, working the skip in between for the transition. We did work the single leg, the balance, challenging that neuromuscular efficiency, working on that abduction, locking them 90 degrees, bringing them outside that shoulder. Now what we're gonna go into the kneeling hip flexor stretch. We're gonna bring them down, working the 3 elbow taps to challenge that functional mobility deep in that hip flexor, right in that groin, the area that we love to neglect. So what we're gonna do, when you're working that kneeling hip flexor stretch, you gotta absolutely, it's prudent for you to keep your knees and your feet shoulder hip width apart. Keep them in the path of your shoulder. Why? Because when you go to transition down, when we go for the 3 elbow taps, you wanna be able to clear that psoas without really pinching or working on that or worrying about hip impingement. So we're dorsiflexing the back foot toe, make sure the ball of the foot and the big toe is anchored. We're driving that knee, perfect upright torso, okay? You have to keep that neutral spine, you keep the tension. You're gonna feel that pull in the TFL, that upper hip muscle. You're gonna feel that stretch. Now you can go for a slight lean forward to really progressively increase that stretch, but I like to keep it simple. I don't like to further compensate. I like to keep relaxed. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna go down for the 3 elbow taps. We're gonna first start in full, keeping the arms extended. Now I'm gonna bring myself out a little bit more because I wanna anchor those elbows. Taking my time. Keep your hips nice and squared. We're bringing them back up. Again, anchor those elbows, bring them in. Inhale up, exhale down. For the third, we're gonna hold the third, hold that puppy. He's trying to get away from me, but I'm not gonna let him. 1 Mississippi for 2 and a third with the release back into the hip flexor, kneeling hip flexor stretch. Remember, you wanna hold the pelvic, you wanna push that pelvic forward a wee bit. Now you don't want to compensate towards that. You're inverting at that lumbar thoracic spine. What you want to do is maintain the torso upright, get a slight lean forward. Absolutely. Transition into the other side. Now we're going to even out that other side. Now remember, Stretching, flexibility training is all about relieving the body. It's the only medicine we have of treating ourselves when we are not having the means of financial resources to truly have the lifestyle to take advantage of what's out there. Trust me, when you start from the bottom, I truly understand. But one thing I can tell you is you have to be resilient. Where there's a will, there's a way. You must find a way to keep that body relaxed, keep them healthy, keep them at its training, most optimum performance level. Nice deep inhale, nice deep exhale up. I'm gonna go back down for a third to count my Mississippis because I really can feel that and they're growing right here. Now my legs are very, very, very sore. Been challenging them lately. We're bringing them back up into that kneeling hip flexor stretch. We're gonna make sure we lock that big toe, anchor the ball of the foot. We're gonna bring those hips forward a wee bit. Long spine all the way through. You got this, crew. It's Nathan. Like we always say, what is it? Nathan. Remember, you want to go through that adduction roll as well as that abduction roll. You want to go into that 3-point kneeling hip flexor stretch where you're really tapping those elbows and coming back up. Don't forget to count your 3 Mississippis to really lock in that stretch. Really working that elasticity. We're going to shift to the hamstrings, all right? Now, one thing about these hamstrings is you got a lot working against you when it comes down to these hammies. All you got to do is sit on them, and what happens is you start to bother the semitendinosus, which is the most medial point in the hamstring, as well as the semimembranosus, which is the most lateral point in your hamstring. That's the outside of that puppy, which can aggravate your iliotibial band. Now, what we want to start from a light stretch to medium stretch to deep stretch. You never want to go straight to that deep stretch. You might hurt yourself. Nice deep inhale, nice deep exhale. I'm shifting into the medium. When you shift with the body now, you want to bring those hands back into the path of the shoulder, keeping that leg extended out, toes pointed north. Nice deep inhale, nice deep exhale. We're shifting back for a deep stretch. Relaxing those glutes right into the back of that hip flexor and heel. Now the most important thing, if you saw before, I was locking that foot, that ball of the foot down. You want to relax them in plantar flexion like that so you can keep that hip flexor relaxed. Bringing them back to the neutral point. Back to our 3-point, we're gonna extend them out. Make sure that toe is pointed out there nice and north, the foot is planted. Here we go, let's rock and roll. Nice deep inhale, nice deep exhale. Nice deep inhale, nice deep exhale. Big chest all the way through. And boy, I can feel that in my adductors as well. Nice deep inhale, nice deep exhale. Now, one of the most important things is when you're stretching your hip flexor, that pelvic tilt really makes a lot of difference. It makes the most difference, all right? So you want to work that. Take your time with that. You never want to rush. Please stay within your comfort zone. Don't compensate. Try not to ever overcompensate when you're stretching. That leads to over and underactive muscles that you don't want to later have to deal with. All right, we're going to shift in a little bit more dynamic movement. That's going to get the blood flowing. As you can see, I'm actually sweating while I'm cooling the body down, which is the most proper way to really cool that puppy down. You don't want to stop cold turkey. You feel what I'm saying? Anyways, let's not get carried away. We're gonna be in downward dog, split rotation, into the pigeon pose, counting for 3 Mississippis, back into the downward dog. All right, what we want? Nice deep forward fold, kicking the hip flexors back. We're gonna walk those hands out into the push-up plank, hitting that reverse downward dog, pressing the heels nice and flat. We're gonna go for the right leg lift, split rotation. And we're just gonna bring them forward into that pigeon pose. And we're gonna start full with those arms extended. We're gonna go for the 3 elbow taps, bringing the elbows down, nice and easy, big chest. Now this is where it's prudent to tuck that pelvis so that you can increase that stretch, really start to fill in the glute max, the glute medius at the top of those glutes. Breathe, tuck the pelvis, tuck the pelvis. Be mindful of how much tension you're loading onto your patellar tendon, okay? You don't want to load a lot of tension on that joint. Inhale, nice deep exhale. Try to keep the hips square. Backside leg's going to be extended. Knees center chest if you can. Booyah. Shifting back into the split rotation. Left leg lift. Dropping them into that pigeon pose. Now, let me clear my phone before I end up hurting myself. All right. Now I got myself all set up. Hips are squared. I'm gonna go for the 3 Albadina taps. That's 1 Albadina, Nice deep inhale for the Albadina. Dropping it down for the Albadina for 2. And bringing it on back up. And we're gonna drop it like it's hot for 3. Nice deep inhale, nice deep exhale. Shifting back into that downward dog. All right, here we go, guys. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go from the child's pose, shifting into the up dog. Now, I love the child's pose. Why? Because it really gets that cervical spine and the medial plane of the spine where that lower mid trap sits. Right where that scapula is, where the rhomboid is relaxing. All you want to do is really try to relax those glutes right into the heels. Point those toes away in plantar flexion. Press the armpits nice and flat while you extend the arms over top of the crown. Now we're going to shift into the up dog. Nice deep inhale, nice deep exhale at the peak. Point the toes away, drop the hip flexors, retract the shoulders, pull the chest up and through. Shifting back into the child's pose. Back into that up dog. Absolutely. That up dog's gonna relieve that thoracolumbar, where that tailbone is, that hard to reach area, as well as that lumbar spine. All right. Last but not least, we're gonna work on the playboys. We call this, yes, we call these playboys in football. It has stuck with me since 12 years old. What this is gonna do is it's gonna help relieve the thoracolumbar. Right there, that lower back, that hard to reach area. If you're a sitter, if you're someone who's standing, what happens is that posterior kinetic chain starts to load up so much tension, you start to feel it wear and bear on the vertebrae. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring the right up and over the left, bringing the left elbow to the right knee. Big chest, neutral spine, and crack, crack, crack. Deep rotation. Now you want to apply that pressure utilizing that left elbow to the right knee so that you can really feel that stretch. Now there's a lower muscle at the bottom of that latissimus dorsi called the quadratus lumborum. If you have bad posture, if you're slouching a lot, yeah, he's going to be a lot more aggravated than normal. And let me tell you, when he starts to misbehave, he acts up. We're going to release him. Alternate to the other side. Left is up and over the right. Right elbow to the left knee. Big chest up and through. Apply that tension. Crack, crack, crack. Nice deep inhale. Nice deep exhale. Now, as you're going throughout this transition and increasing your repetitions, you can absolutely increase your range if you have it naturally available. Now, I'm going to increase my range just a little bit more. Very important for you to breathe. Notice I didn't even say a word on that one. Very important, very important. Nice deep inhale, nice deep exhale. Cadizsh Norford, aka Mr. Hit the Kick Sweat, bringing the neighborhood kicking and the beautiful quality content, helping you change your lives. If you enjoyed it, if you enjoyed this flexibility training today, don't forget to ring the bell so that you can get notifications every time I post. Last but not least, don't forget to tag me on My Muscle Motivation on Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe, become a part of the family so I can start to take care of you. Let me know what you want to see. Give me some tips and tricks that you would like to see more in the future to help you facilitate your fitness journey. Mr. Hit the Kick Sweat.